Hello and welcome to the second meeting of Season 6 of the KSW Painting Europe 8 Supercars series, and it comes live to you from Apex Racing TV. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick alongside me, and also on the cameras this evening is Marco Barbier, and we're here at the lovely Tsukuba circuit, or Tsukuba circuit. First question to you, Marco, a little bit off topic. How do you pronounce it, as you are the Japanese expert in the commentary booth tonight?
Oh well, hello everyone. Yeah, the semi-correct pronunciation is Tsukuba, with the
Tsukuba.
Yes, you know I teach you a lot in the previous weeks.
It's only taken me two months to get the hang of it.
Yeah, but you did a great job, because it's a very tough word to pronounce for Italians, and we don't have the weird changing of the vocals like you do for different words, and it's very tough for us. It's mega tough for you guys. But the important stuff, I think, Sam, tonight we are having a meeting here at Tsukuba. We have 3 races, a triple header, 3 super sprint races. So I think it's going to be a cracker. We've seen many races here on Apex Racing TV, starting from week 13 around this track, and it has always provided for some great racing in all the cars we've had here. And you've had first-hand experience with the Radicals last week.
Yes,
and the great track with the great cars and the great drivers of this championship. I think we are in for a fantastic night of racing. All the big names are here. It's the second round of the season. Honestly, I cannot wait.
It's going to be great, isn't it? Of course, the super sprint, approximately 20 minutes in length, 25 laps for each. It's a very short circuit this. We are going to see some lapping as well, but of course, we'll encounter that when it comes to it. I was just thinking earlier on, I don't know if we could just go on board with Johnny Brandon, the current pole sitter, because around this circuit, you're barely on full throttle for any of it. So here he is, he's on full throttle here. But this is only for a few seconds, and is he going to get held up? I think that's Michael Abdoka just ahead of him. I'm not quite sure. And then, of course, just about on the power here, but it's just hairpin after hairpin, of course. And in this car, with the traction, it's going to be ever so difficult. And you can see how narrow it is from my experience, at least in the BSR Radical. Extremely difficult to overtake around this circuit. And so, you know, I kind of think back to, of course, Jean-Philippe Boussalan winning around at Lime Rock Park in Season 4. How successful he was there. I think we might see the same today. So hopefully a couple of first-time winners are coming to this evening.
Absolutely, this is the kind of track that really suits a driver that can navigate through the traffic and that can defend his position very well, as we saw lap around Tsukuba with Johnny Brandon. I think that the reverse grids will be very nice. Also, and this is of course a public service announcement, the very first stream from my new computer. So if there's like I had to basically do everything from scratch today. I've been working hard since 10 AM of course this morning. So if the volumes are a bit off, don't be afraid, tell me, and I will, because I forgot to save my OBS settings, so I found the sweet spot with the volumes lately, and I forgot to save it. So, but apart from that, I hope that you are all enjoying finally Euro V8 in glorious 1080p 60 frames per second. So after all these streams in 30 FPS, finally we are back with the 1080p 60 FPS, and what better track and what better series than the Euro V8s at Tsukuba. So honestly, qualifying is over. I cannot wait to start. And yes, in a second we will go through the starting grid. And of course, I just noticed the first little problem. I have to change the sponsor, which are getting one on top of the other, which is of course not recommended.
Yes, of course, KSW Painting. Very pleased to be sponsoring this season. Thanks a lot to them, contributing, of course, to the broadcasting fees. Just a bit of a reference, top 3 in the championship, Brandon, Catalan, and Evdoka for this round. But firstly, the grid, Johnny Brandon, championship leader, on pole position by half a tenth of a second over Jake Burton. He was very strong Montreal 1, race 1, of course. Chris Jackson, really strong qualifying from him in 3rd. Tony Klusman, his teammate, starts alongside in 4th. And it's Nicole Foggy, a bit of a disappointing qualifying for him. Quarter of a second off his teammate in 5th. Guy Croft, very strong in 6th, out-qualifies Season 4 champion Michael Evdoka. Behind that is Galahov, Carr, and Antonia. And then the rest of the drivers will just cycle through for you now. Just got a few more drives to get. In fact, quite a few more drives to get on the grid. It's going to come down to the start, this, isn't it, Marco? Of course, we want to see some overtaking up there. But whoever exits the first lap in the lead is going to be in a very strong place.
Absolutely, I agree with you. And of course, let's remember, second race is random reverse, third race is full reverse, and you have to be on the lead lap to get the reverse in this series. So track position will be so important. Look at that. It seems like the old days of Spa-Francorchamps when the cars used to start basically the first few rows were on the straight, and then you had the final few cars from midway through the rest of the pack going towards the bus stop corner. So this is a bit similar, because if we look at the back of the grid, Nathan Williams here, look at that. He's basically starting in a corner as we are ready to go for race 1, Sam.
Here we go. Johnny Brandon from the pole position, looking for his first win of the season. It's not a good start, though, for Johnny Brandon, and he's going to drop down into 3rd, maybe even 4th position. It's Jake Burton going into the lead. Chris Jackson from 3rd on the grid, trying to challenge him. This is absolutely essential, because if Burton can exit these first few corners in the lead, he is going to look very strong. But what a calamitous start for Johnny Brandon, and we've got issues at the back as well. Taylor Lane, I think, just having an issue, as Burton exits these first couple of corners. He is in the lead. Brandon trying to come back. He's got his teammate Nico Foggy right on his tail. Tony Klusman trying to fend off 3rd position. Brandon down the inside into the hairpin, but there's just not the space. And well, what a terrible start it is for the Season 5 champion.
Yeah, Victor Tanaka pointing the wrong way, and so is Gary Croft. Not a good start from these two NQR drivers. Jake Barton leading the race from Chris Jackson and Tony Klusterman. Johnny Brandon, a shocking start for him, and he keeps losing positions. Also see Nicole Foggy there. Brandon on the outside of Klusterman. There's some contact, and we can expect more of this, I think, Sam. There is no space for passing here. Look at this, side by side. Ho ho ho, fantastic stuff. Brandon has the inside, Klusterman has the outside, but now Klusterman has the inside. They are rubbing fenders once again. This is some amazing stuff. It's going to be like this all night long, I think.
Brandon's got the position, and Klusman's surely got to be around. Fantastic save from the Canadian, but it's opened the door now for Nicole Foggy to maybe go through. Evdoka just waiting in the wings behind as they go side by side. Klusman's really struggling out there, maybe with the high track temperatures not fancying him whatsoever, and he has now lost a position to both of the XVR drivers. Next up behind will be Evdoka, who's got a decent start ahead of Galahov. Gary Croft got an awful start. He was running in 6th place at the start. He's down into 20th. Evdoka under pressure here from Galahov, a very successful driver in this series, drives against another very successful driver, and I think Evdoka is going to lose out on this one. Galahov on a charge.
Yes, and we say hello to all the viewers on YouTube, on Twitch, and on Facebook. Especially to Sam Kumo, who is watching with us, a former very, very important streamer of this series. I'm so honored to be now in his position, and finally I hopefully can get something of his kind of quality. As we have a car around, is Michael Evdoka in a very dangerous position. Is back in the pointing the right way. Let's get a replay of that. As you can see, the event viewer Sam is absolutely going crazy. There was some contact, I think, with Philip Antonia. Yes.
Yeah, and I think that was probably Antonia's fault there, but it's just so narrow, it's difficult for these drivers to not have incidents like that, and often you can go for a move, and with the different racing lines you can take around here with the early apexes and different lines and the wide turn-ins, you can kind of get a little bit of a misunderstanding between the two drivers. I think that's what happened there. Burton still in the lead, but he's not pulling away from Chris Jackson, the Trans-Tasman racing driver. Not familiar with that team, to be honest, but I think they're quite prominent
they are a
in
big
the stops.
yeah, and also they did Daytona recently. Of course, I did already the first blunder of the night because it's not Sam Kumo, it's Scotty Newton watching us. But still, I hope to put out the same quality of streams as that he does, because they are the best. Finally, hopefully, I think I might get to the same level as they have. As Michael Frost has towed back to the pits, battle for first is eating up. The gap is still around half a second between Barton and Jackson. As you can see, Jackson gets very close in the corners, but then Barton is able to pull away basically in the straights. As we are already 5 laps in, we are lapping around 55 seconds, so you know that the lap is very short. And I was talking to a teammate the other day, as they are about to get the first lapped car, and that I think is Bill Switzer, yes. Not a lot of corners, Sam, around this track, but they are so difficult and so unique. And you have many different, banking, elevation changes. Look at the track going up the hill when you have to brake for the first corner, for example. Seems so easy on paper, but it is absolutely not. It's a very tough track, this one.
Yeah, it's just fascinating to see the driving lines. If we could just go on board with Chris Jackson, just to see his exits, you'll see how tight he is. Look at all that room on the outside of the circuit. Neither him or Jake Burton using much of it. It's all about just braking in a straight line, getting the car stopped on a dime, and then squirting the power out on the exit. And you'll see how tight they are here. It kind of goes against everything you learn in racing. In racing lines, but that's what you got to do in this car and round this circuit with the bankings, as you said, Marco, and yeah, just the power of this car around such tight, twisty corners. Jackson seems to be the faster driver. This is fantastic to see from him. Driver who's only won 2 races in this series, which is mind-boggling, because he's consistently gets himself into this position, but often just can't quite deliver the results. And, well, he'd be certainly a good pick for maybe a race win today. This race 1, I'm sure he would like to take away, but he's going to maybe have to use the traffic to his advantage. They've got Bill Switzer just ahead. Not too far ahead of that will be Clyde Whiting and Andrew Hoffman. So this should be quite a prominent issue, and I think this is going to be Jackson's best chance to win this race.
Yes, as we go... Lapped car moves out of the way very nicely, as we are following in the back Johnny Brandon getting closer and closer to that front of the field, the top 2 guys. Michael Evdoka in P14 trying to make a comeback. Here he is with some damage in the front left. Philippe Antonia in front of Woodward there. Let's concentrate on this battle for first, because I think these 3 guys will battle it out, and maybe Sam, Johnny might be attacking Chris before Chris gets the move done on Jake Barton, if he's able to do that.
Well, we saw Johnny quite conservative, I'd say, at Montreal, though he did say afterwards that he was desperate to get any position. Well, that's quite an aggressive move there. Jackson with a couple of mistakes on this lap already. And it's just put him into the clutches of Johnny Brandon. 0.3 of a second between the 2 of them. It's good to see is that the top 8, I think, all on the same piece of, all on the same straight. And it's a relatively short straight as well, that. That's the longest on the circuit still. And yeah, Brandon always looking to the inside here. I was racing against him actually in the BSR Radical. He was very hesitant to go for a move actually for the race lead, and it almost gave me a couple of opportunities to go for a dive. Nearly made contact, but didn't quite.
Oh,
so
mistake.
He's not going to be too aggressive as they make contact, and just got caught out there by the very slow apex speed there from Chris Jackson.
Yes, absolutely. It was nothing intentional there. I'm quite sure it was just, like you said, Johnny being surprised by Chris's mistake there. As all of a sudden, thanks to this, Nicole Foggy joined the party as well. So top 4 are there. Tony Klusterman waiting in the wings. So Trans Tasman leading, then NQR, XVR, XVR and NQR in the top 5, with Galahov having a good run in P6. Here he is, quite a bit lonely there with Philippe Antonia behind him. And then there's a big pack here with Raprager, Woodward, Greg Carr and Warmingham in the top 11, fighting for the top 10. Back to the front. Oh, they are absolutely sideways coming out of the first corner. I don't think that there is much grip there, Sam, and these guys are not doing a favor to their tires. Good for them, it's a short race.
Yeah, it's a 33 track temperature as Victor Tanaka just disconnects from the session. So that's, oh, well, that's actually a connection issue. So where was Tanaka previously? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, don't know what's happened there for Victor, but yeah, a connection issue. Sad to see him go because he's not going to be eligible now for the second race of the evening. But yeah, 33 degrees track temperature, so not a decent amount of grip out there. And of course, we also have the Japanese tarmac as well, which doesn't usually yield too much grip for these drivers. And certainly your driving style around here is going to be absolutely crucial. As Richard Warmium goes off the circuit, well, that's a rare mistake from the driver currently in 4th in the championship. Overall, the winner of the club championship last season, he's down into 13th place.
Yes, absolutely, as the sun is coming out from behind the clouds once again, as it seems like Jackson has been able to pull away from Brandon just a bit, but at the same time Barton has, I wouldn't say checked out, but 1.3 seconds is the lead over P2, the biggest lead of the day, and now it's Foggy and Brandon, and despite being teammates, these two have never shied away from a battle on the track. So we'll see what happens. I'm a bit upset that they didn't pick the 1K track for the races this week, because that would have been absolutely crazy. But all jokes aside, this is a great track for racing. That one is a bit of you know, a meme track, one could say, and this is the perfect choice because it has never failed to deliver some fantastic racing, and I think today, especially when we get to the reversals, it will be the same.
Oh, Jackson!
Jackson saves the car.
Oh, wow. Well done. Well, the NQR drivers... Oh, and now he's going to have to go defensive because Brandon's right on his tail, but that was good defense there from Jackson. Can he get stopped on the apex? Yes, he can. Now he needs to try to get the power down, but there is just no grip for him. And now is he going to have to go defensive? Not much of a braking zone into the final corner, but Brandon might still try... No, Jackson's okay this time, but he's got to nail the exit here, and I think that's what he's done. No, he just had to get out of the throttle, and he's got to defend against Brandon because he's right on the tail. And now Brandon will look to the inside, and now Brandon is going to be alongside Jackson, and Brandon almost round. They're both sliding through turn 1, but Jackson just about has the better line, and he'll have the inside for turn 2 unless Brandon can come back at him again. This is where they made contact a couple of laps ago, but somehow Chris Jackson is hanging on to second place still.
And under his helmet, I'm sure Jake Barton is smiling because all this battle, 2.3 seconds, the lead over Chris Jackson now with 12 laps to go. Seems like he could win the race, but we are having 3 of the greatest drivers in the history of the series battling it out, as now we have some lapped cars for the race leader. And of course you have to be very, very careful around here. And now, more importantly, I think these 3 guys will get through the lap traffic as in the twisty part of the track. One of the drivers pulls on the right, nice move. So they will have to contend with only one lapped car at the moment. But it's never easy to pick your moment, especially around here. And these drivers know they cannot afford a mistake. I think a little bit of a bump there, maybe from Johnny. Very, very close. We'll see now what happens. I think they will get to this car when they get to the backstretch, maybe. So could be good. Let's see.
Yeah, Ben Gregory in the Fitstyle Motorsport car, and well, he's doing the smart thing there, just pulling to one side. And these second, third, and fourth will go past. Of course, we haven't been given too much attention to the drivers further down the field, but do not worry, of course, with the super sprints, we're going to have a random reverse grid in race 2 and a full reverse grid for race 3. So I have no doubt that everyone will kind of have a chance at winning a race. Chris Jackson did have a chance earlier on, but you can see that gap increasing between him and Jake Burton, and he's now overheating those tyres, Mark, going around a circuit maybe like Monza or even Montreal, where he went 2 weeks ago. There's opportunities for the tyres to cool down. Around here, there is no relief, and lap tyre temperature will just gain and gain and gain as the race goes on. And if he keeps on looking up like that, it's only going to get worse.
Yes, so we talked with these guys, if you remember, last year, after the last season. Well, it was also last year, for the super sprint at Summit Point, a track similar to this, I might say. And they were saying that the moment you were eating your tires there, it was game over. Basically, you had to carry on with those less than optimal tires for the rest of the race. And even if it was a super sprint, the nature of the track with all the twisty sections and corners, it proved to be a very, very tough task for these guys. And we've seen Jackson, Brandon, Foggy, Klusterman all being basically on the limit for the entire race. You saw now Brandon locking the brakes into the first corner, now going a bit sideways. So you know these drivers are giving their everything, but they are also having, you know, they have to be careful, because it only takes one mistake around here. The barriers are very, very close on this track, as we see.
Woodward and Evdoka are having a fantastic battle. Evdoka just moving ahead of Woodward now. They changed positions a few times there. But Michael Evdoka back into the top 10. He just wants to be eligible for the reverse grid. Of course, his last race win in this race came in the super sprint as Evdoka loses it again at the hairpin. Will he get away with it? Those tyres will be absolutely steaming now. Track temperature's gone up to 39 degrees due to the sun coming out, and Evdoka is under big pressure here. How are those rear tyres now? He's still sliding all over the place, but he might just be able to nail this exit to pull ahead of his rival again. He is ahead just across the line, but he hasn't got the ideal line. And back down the inside goes Anthony Woodward, second in the club championship last season. Evdoka, is he going to run out of space? No, he doesn't. And this time, he will surely make that move stick. A fantastic duel between the two of them. And he has now surely secured that 10th place. And now, could he maybe catch up Rapp and Kart by the end of the race?
Of course, we're talking about Ben Gregory, world's newest astronaut, after what happened the other day in Watkins Glen in the World GT Championship. I can imagine you being in the commentary box and thinking about all the repairs to the car, which is not cheap after it gets to space, you know. Might have to ask Elon Musk for some tips about that.
You of course check out our Facebook page. We've made a few memes out of that, and a few other. We had some good Wallace and Gromit puns the other day, so we made a video of that. It's worth liking our Facebook page for that content if you somehow enjoy it. And yeah, very good. But yeah, of course, yeah, Ben still going on, keeping his feet on earth for now. And well, he's unfortunately a lap down, so he will not be eligible. Or will he be eligible? He won't be eligible, will he? He won't, okay. Currently, Harold Stadler, the first eligible driver. He's still on the lead lap, but he could well be caught by the end of this race. Still, these three are circulating around. I think track temperatures, yeah, staying at 39 degrees. This guy will still be so difficult. Nicole probably struggling to really make too much of an impact. He doesn't want to make contact with his teammate, obviously. And they, to be fair, they race hard, but I can't remember them ever coming together, I must say, Marco, which, considering that they're so evenly matched and consistently fights for race wins, they just never seem to have incidents with one another.
Exactly, and that's what I think they have as we get a replay here, of a big crash for Nathan Williams, Southern Cross Racing, in the wall, and he has looked back to the pits. They seem to be always running, you know, they want to win, they want to battle, but if they can, like good teammates, they avoid contact if possible. I was thinking about Michael Evdoka, and not only his last win was in a super sprint event, but it was also in Japan as well. It was the infamous Okayama short race meeting, where we had that 3 distinct pile-ups in the same lap in 3 different corners, if you remember. It was race 3, so the race after that, basically, where Michael got involved in that crash. So he went for a pit stop to do his fast repair. So he stayed on the lead lap, but it was a tactical decision, and it paid off because he started, I think, from the pole in race 3 and then won the race. So he likes Japan, he likes super sprint races. Hopefully he doesn't run into trouble, because we like to see him at the front. And sadly he already had a little bit of trouble, and you see he's up to P10, which is 3 positions below his starting position, so that proves the point that it's so tough to pass around Euro. A great driver like Michael, granted he's been away from the car and the championship for a bit, but still he's having troubles getting through all the, you know, the field, and this proves that this is a very, very tough track to get your moves done.
Yeah, definitely, and certainly that final race of the evening. It's all about just staying on that lead lap. It's so crucial for these drivers, and if they can finish on the lead lap in that race 2, they are going to have some chance to get a podium in race 3. We've got a few of these trains going on out here. Rappuga seemingly struggling a little bit. He's dropped back into the clutches of Greg Carr and co. Also got Hal Stadler, the last driver, I believe, on the lead lap, because there is Jake Burton. And while this Stadler doesn't want to give this one up, but he's going to have to, because we've still got 3 more laps after this one. So I think Clyde Whiting might just be safe from from Jake Burton, so he will be eligible for the reverse grid, as Richard Warming, of course, finding himself in 13th place. Wasn't a fantastic qualifying for him, and of course had that off at the last corner, and now he's finding himself behind David Fielder in the Phantom 71 car. And I always say, I do feel like I'm really harsh on Richard. I don't mean to be, but I do often say he's quite a passive driver. He needs to be quite decisive if he's going to have a chance at making a move.
Yes, yes, and you know, his patience gave him the club championship last season, so it's always good as we have a battle for P2 finally. Brandon now on the outside trying to make the move.
He can't quite get alongside. That's what you need to do around there. Then you have the inside for turn 2, and well, it's impossible almost to go around the outside into turn 2. Maybe that's Brandon's one last chance.
Oh, the leader is a problem.
Off. Yeah, Burton, how is his car? It looks okay to me, but wow, that could have been his first race winner of the or his second race winner of the season over.
Contact with Ben Gregory, or a misunderstanding with him. We'll get to that at the end of the race at this point, because of course now there's a battle raging. 1 second now the gap. 2 laps to go after this final corner of the lap. Seems to be okay, and good for him that Jackson, Brandon and Foggy are all battling. But that was a scary moment, and this will be important throughout the rest of the night, I think, Sam. The lapped cars, not because of their fault, but will play a part, because even lapping is tough around here, and if you get a little bit of a misunderstanding with your opponent, it can get very, very tricky. I don't know what happened there, but surely we'll get a replay, and this was the corner 1 lap ago. Now 0.7 of a second between Barton and Jackson.
Yeah, you'd think that Burton hasn't got any damage on that car. I certainly can't see anything, so it's just a case of not making a mistake, Jake Burton. He's been sublime so far in this race, has not put a foot wrong, just as his performance was at Montreal 2 weeks ago to take his first race victory in this series. 0.8 of a second, 1 second in fact, as they take alternative lines to the final corner. I think Chris Jackson will be happy with second place after all which has gone. It's been a very stressful race for him. As we're on the final lap of the race. And well, he certainly looks to be okay, does Jake Burton, just managing this one at the end. He's got Clyde Whiting just ahead of him, but I don't think he's going to catch up. Oh no, that's not Whiting,
no,
so that is someone else.
Someone else that is already a lap down, I think.
Yes. Won't matter for Jake Burton, because yeah, he should be okay. So leading by 0.7 of a second. Of course, he took his first race victory in this series at race 1 in Montreal. And it's looking like he's going to back that up on the other side of the world, or the other side of the Pacific, let's say. As Jake Burton rounds the final corner for Trans-Tasman Racing. He wins here at Tsukuba, just about across the line. Well, that was a nice slide to end. We saw that a few times. And well, he really did manage that one well. Superb win and a superb start, and that's what decided it for him. David Fielder looks as though he's going to defend from Richard Warren. He's gained a couple of positions, I think, but it's not going to be enough for Warren. Rapruga has had an issue, so too has Carr. So I think those two came together. So I've dropped down the order. It means that Michael Evdock will finish 8th, Woodward in 9th, and David Fielder will round out the top 10. And there is Rapruga losing even more places right at the end.
Yes, we are getting to the final corner. And please be patient for a little bit of audio trouble, which I will sort in a second.
Are we still...
Yes, we are going live.
Yes.
You are still live. Yes, a little bit of a problem. I couldn't remember which was the right codec for the voice meter software, and of course I picked the wrong one. But now it should be all good, and yes, so the race is over. Let's see what happened between Jake Barton and Ben Gregory.
Also, the instance already happened ahead.
Oh,
wow.
Benjamin tried to get to space once again. I am a big fan of space exploration, and once you get the feeling, I think you want to go there again. And if I ever have the money, I will jump on one of the future SpaceX or Blue Origin or Virgin Galactic costumer space missions, and go up in the sky just for a bit. That was a little bit dangerous. I'm sure that Ben was confused, not done on purpose. And all is good if it ends well. There's no problem in that. And congratulations to Jake Barton then, because like race 1 in Canada, he gets the race win tonight at race 1 in Japan. And in a bit, just a few seconds, we will go through the race results for you.
Could we just go back to the Rapruga car instant as well? Yeah, it happened on the penultimate lap.
Absolutely, we can get to that in a second as well.
Because those two were having a kind of a race-long battle. It looked quite clean between the two of them, but they came to blows in the end.
So Rapruga had two problems. First, at the end of the race, he went wide in the final corner, shown not here. Let's see if it is this one. Because I think I showed him go wide in the final corner, but this is afterwards. So if we go back a bit in the event viewer, which goes crazy around this track, we can find nothing. So I'm sorry, Sam, I failed you. Something must have happened.
Well.
So, but unfortunately, it's not in the event viewer. But fortunately, we have the race result for you.
Yes, and it's Jake Barton, the first driver to reach 2 race victories this season in the Euro V8. Chris Jackson was only 3.5 tenths behind in the end. Johnny Brandon was 8 tenths off the lead. Nick Offoy 1.5 seconds off the lead. Tony Klusman was a distant 5th in the end, struggling a little bit out there, I think, with the just managing the tyre temperature, and was struggling a little bit at the start as well. Alexander Galahov finished in 7th. There was Michael Evdock, a good recovery drive from him in 8th after falling, I think, to 14th at one point. Anthony Woodward was in 9th. David Fielder, good drive from 21st on the grid, 10th. Richard Warmup had a mistake in 11th. Greg Carr and Edward Rapruga came together in 12th and 13th. Lena Connor was in 14th. There's Gary Croft, Samuel Buzan, Nikolai Bogotayev, Clyde Whiting was the last driver on the lead lap. Means that he's the last driver to be eligible for the reverse grid. And then behind that was Stadler, Hoffman, Switzer, Glasgow, Gregory, Peachman, Frost, Lane, Tanaka, Williams, Winter, and then Bembick and Dempsey did not take the start. So, for the only time today, Marco, we have the reverse grid wheel.
Exactly, and it should be on your screen right now. Okay. And so we have 18 cars eligible for the reverse, if I'm not mistaken. So let's roll it. It was very close to being full, but at the last second it skipped to 8. So we will have an 8-car reverse for race 2, which means, Sam, who's going to be on pole?
Michael F. Docker.
Oh,
The
lucky
driver who
boy.
won his last race in the Super Sprints, where he's going to be on pole position for race 2 and looking very strong. Philip Antonia will start alongside, of course, the rookie to this series, Alexandra Galahov, and Tony Klusman will be on the second row of the grid. Well, of course, we're not going to miss it, but you shouldn't either, because it's going to be very good fun. That second race, and of course, race 3 will be likewise. We'll be back in about 25 minutes' time for the second race of the evening here in the UV8 Supercar Series.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
For a splash. 3, 2, 1, now. All clear. Punch it. Great job. You did really well.
welcome back to Tsukuba and the UV8 Supercar Series, meeting 2 of Season 6. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick, alongside me is Marco Barbner in the commentary booth, of course broadcasting on Apex Racing TV. We are just teeing up for the second race of the evening, and race 1, Marco, it was kind of what we expected, with overtaking being extremely difficult, and in the end it was, now I try to think what his name is, who won the first race. Oh dear, well, shows how professional we are. But yeah, in the end it mainly stayed the same for the majority of the field. And in the end, Chris Jackson just couldn't quite get the move for the lead. And really, despite there being differences in pace, yeah, the overtakes just weren't materialising.
It was Jake Barton who won race 1, and the interesting thing is, I cannot find him in the entry list for race 2.
No.
That is weird, or I think a connection problem, hardware problem, something like that. Remember, in race 2 at Montreal, we had only 2 races in that round, he got involved in a pretty big crash, so race 2s are not have not been kind to him this season so far. We'll see, he's got a couple of minutes left in this warm-up session to jump in, but that would be a very, very sad thing if he couldn't join in time for the second race of the night. Let's remember the format. We will have once again 25 laps around the track, and the final results of race 2 will be reversed for the drivers on the lead lap, and that will be the starting grid for the third race of the season. So Sam, you were disappointed about the small reverse in race 1, but fear not, because we will have the maximum reverse possible for race 3, as we have only 40 seconds left, and you can see the drivers.
Sorry, Mark, I think we're going to be changing the server. The reason why Jake Burton couldn't get into the session was because of a session issue. So I think everyone is disconnecting, and so will we in a few moments' time. I think there's going to be a new server up. Hopefully, probably will be a 10-minute practice. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes' time to take you through race 2 of the evening. So for the inconvenience, but yeah, hopefully we'll see you back.
Punch it. Great job, you did really well.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Welcome back to Tsukuba and the Euro V8 Supercar series, of course sponsored by KSW Painting. We are just gridding up for race 2 of the evening. The grid is should be on your screen now. On pole position is Michael Evdoka after a reverse grid of 8 alongside him. Alexander Galahov, Tony Klusman and Nico Foggy make up the third row. Then it's Brandon and Jackson on the fourth. And then the drivers who didn't unfortunately get the reverse grid are Woodward and Fielder. And a couple just looking at it, Jake Burton hasn't unfortunately made the grid, which is very disappointing to see. Hopefully we'll see him back later on. All the drivers I think are already on the grid, so here we go. Sorry, just one more I think. Nathan Williams just yet to get on the grid. Marco, quick word from you, who's going to win?
Tony Klusterman.
Oh, wow, that's a bold call. Here we go, getting ready. The green lights will come on, or the red lights, whatever colour they are. It doesn't make a difference because Michael Evdoka is on pole position. Alexander Galahov alongside him. And away we go here at Tsukuba. And it's not a great start from Evdoka. He's going to be under pressure from Galahov. Down the inside goes Galahov into turn 1. It's almost 3 wide here. Galahov almost making contact. They are making contact. Evdoka though, still in the lead. We've got a massive pile-up just behind though. A lot of cars involved in that one. Evdoka still having to go defensive against Galahov. He's so wide and maybe he's going to lose the lead here. Johnny Brandon, championship leader round. But who's leading still? It's Evdoka as we've got another crasher. This is an incredible start. Tony Klusman, Marco's pick for the race winners got a horrendous curse there as Evdoka still leading the way somehow. What an incredible start.
Yeah, race 2 in Japan in the triple header seems to have calamity attached to it. Basically almost what happened last year at Okayama in race 2. Michael Evdoka leads the way, Galahov and Foggy, but we had a massive pile-up in the back and the commentator's curse striking again because sadly Tony Klusterman went into the barriers and you see Evdoka is on the limit trying to defend from Galahov in P2. We will get back to the chaos as soon, I don't know when, things will settle, because I think, Sam, this battle will go on for quite a bit at the front.
Yeah, I think we might just have to look at it after the race, to be honest, because this one is not going to calm down at any point. Michael Evdoka leading the way. The track is 44 degrees Celsius. It is swelteringly hot out there, so it's going to be really difficult for these drivers, and you can see Evdoka struggling quite a bit out there. It's so important that these drivers don't get too much of the heat as a slowdown there for Galahov, and that might just be a fantastic chance at a race victory over. We saw this in the Masters during week 13, and on lap 2 of the race, that's going to lose him a lot of time. He's way off the lead, and it gives a bit of relief for Michael Evdoka. How is Johnny Brandon doing? He's still in 19th. There is Tony Klusman. These two should have been fighting for the lead. They're fighting over 18th and 19th places instead. And Ben Gregory, so far, the biggest gain, along with Michael Frost. He's up 11 places, up into 9th. And he's got some war wounds to show it as well, but he is seemingly pulling away a little bit from the drivers behind.
And Michael Frost also slowing a bit as many drivers are getting past him. Here's Andrew Hoffman, you see him. And there's a big bunch of cars. Klaus Winter also there. I think Clyde Whiting also went around in the first corner. But as you can see, there's cars everywhere in the mid-pack. Tanaka also, nice to see him back for race 2. Sadly, like you said, Jake Barton is not here for race 2. As we go back to the front of this pack, Michael Frost maybe a bit wide. He's able to save the car, but very slow line through there. And now I think they will go 3 wide, but also have to jump back to the front because Warmingham and Busin side by side into the second and third corner.
This is what we like to see from Richard Warming, and this could be a very nice move there from Richard Warming. Well done to him in the XVR driver. Of course, now the second place XVR driver because of Johnny Brandon having an issue. And here is Brandon, and well, he's David versus Goliath here, and we've got a car off as well. Michael Frost falling down the order in the wall there. Brandon's got so many cars to pass. Klusman, to be fair, has already dispatched a load of them. A few of them are his teammates, as Brandon is down the inside of Bogatyrev there. And that was a bit of a late one, I must say. And, oh, we've got another car off.
Glaskov.
Glaskov is now round. So Joey's had a couple of poor results so far today. Joey usually gets into the top 10s and would fancy his chances in this type of race. Pocataro trying to get past Hoffman as Brandon passes him. It's incredible how quick Brandon and Klusman can get past these gyros on a circuit that has proven to be so difficult to overtake around.
Exactly. By the way, Chris Jackson, fastest lap of the race, is sitting in P3, trying to get closer. See, Evdoka already dealing with some lapped cars. That I think is David Fielder. Yes, he is. So Evdoka, Foggy and Jackson went by him. Jackson lost a little bit of ground making the pass. Foggy very, very close to Evdoka. It's season 4 all over again, I think. Also, remember that was the first year when Foggy really came to the front of the pack. We are only missing Johnny Brandon to the mix, I think.
Well, of course, Foggy actually made his debut on the same day as you made your debut, Marco. His first ever race was that Bathurst event. And while has he impressed since then, of course, your pick for the title at the start of the season. And if it ends like this, he will not be far away from the summit of the championship. So too will be Michael Evdoka, but we've still got a while to go. We're only halfway through this meeting. As we've got a spinner there, it's Guy Croft, as he almost takes out there the XVR driver of Lane O'Connor, I think. So yeah, just trying to cover that one. As we head back to the lead, half a second between Evdoka and Foggy. Of course, Foggy, an experienced driver in terms of fighting for championships, won the World GT Championship twice, fighting for the BSR Radical title as well. And he's had plenty of other success as well. I think he's racing in the World F3 Championship. So he will know that there's no point in risking a move for the lead. That second place would be a great points haul, and of course might well elevate him above his teammate Johnny Brandon in the standings.
World F3 Championship starting in just a couple of days. On Wednesday will be the first round at 8:15 GMT. Don't miss it.
Yeah, that should be great fun. So it's anyone who's seen the World GT Championship this season knows how good, well run the league is, and also how competitive the drivers are. I think we're going to have Alex Simpson as well in that one. Was former pro driver, a couple of other Apex Racing UK drivers as well. Galahov trying to recover. He could win this race still if he can really get a move on it. If the top three fight against one another, he has just got past Anthony Woodward, who's having a fantastic drive at the moment in the top 5. As Evdoka coming under increasing pressure from Nicole Foggy, the XBR driver, versus Fitzlow Motorsport, versus Never Quit Racing, versus Slow Ruse as well. Where's Foggy's best chance going to be? It's surely going to be turn 1, isn't it?
Yes, the final corner is not a good passing opportunity, because it's such a tough corner and it doesn't have a very big braking zone. I think the best opportunity is to get the move done into the first corner, but then you really need to get a good exit, because it's tough for the guy making the move on the inside in turn 1 to have then the preferential line coming out of that and getting to the hairpin after the S. So, like we said many times, not an easy place to pass. Even the best passing opportunity on the track has, you know, another side of the medal, you know, like we say in Italy, because then you have to think about these corners here, and most importantly, the hairpin, which has a little bit of banking on the outside, so maybe you could use it and then jump on the inside here in the right-hander. But after that, once again, the left-hander, it's really tricky after you go to the bridge. So you really have to think, Sam, 2-3 corners in advance when you want to make a move on your, especially when you are talking about all these very quick drivers. So it's never easy when the speed differential is so small between the guys fighting it out for position.
Bit of a battle between Samuel Buzan and Greg Carr currently. Carr, after a bit of a disappointing race 1, losing out late on. He was fighting over 7th position, I believe. Could have been on the front row of the grid. Just, wow, I haven't really thought about it, but I think if Carr hadn't have had that, and we had the same reverse grid, then he would have been right in the box seat right now, but it hasn't gone his way. Buzan under pressure for the ASEA Racing team. Of course, have their own endurance league. Check that out. And their Facebook page as well. Buzan holding on very impressively currently. 7th place. Gregory 4.5 seconds behind this battle, and Klusman closing in as well. You might just see Klusman in the background then. Here is Brandon, already got past Winter and Peachman. Next up, Tanaka for him.
Yeah, this will be a nice battle. Tanaka is always a spectacular driver, doesn't give up easily, as we welcome all the viewers on Facebook, on Twitch and on YouTube, and they are enjoying the race, and so are we. And once again, we have 14 laps to go in this one, and then we will have one more race, race 3, later in the evening, just after the end of this one.
Warmingham up into 5th. Gets past Woodward. Of course, those two fought out the club championship last season. Warmingham coming out on top, and he repeats that feat once again. Of course, his teammates yet to make the move for 11th place. Johnny Brandon. It's just about a recovery job here. Of course, for race 3, he's going to be looking very strong, isn't he, Marco? With the full reverse grid, he's undoubtedly going to finish on the lead lap as long as he doesn't have another issue. Yeah, big favourite for race 3 right now.
Exactly, yes. I think at the moment we only have 3 or 4 guys 1 lap down. So we might have a very, very big reverse, even though with half of the race left, anything can happen around such a short circuit. So we will see.
These guys are having a good battle. Rapiga fell down at the end of the last race. We got O'Connor with significant damage. I think he's still fighting on almost off the circuit. There is Andrew Hoffman, and just moving through there was Rapiga, I think. Also Clyde Whiting involved in this one, as Buzan is round from 8th down into 8th now.
Careful. Was
in 7th. Is he going to stay ahead of the Galahov Brandon fight? No, he's not. He's just going to fall behind. And I'm not quite sure how much damage that car now has.
Let's go quickly for the replay. I think a little bit of contact. Oh, his opponent lost the car. Well, that's very, very unfortunate. Unlucky there for Sam Buzin.
I think that was Carr who made contact.
Yes.
Ah, disappointing.
Johnny Brandon is not being able to get past Tanaka for quite a few laps now. Like I said, Tanaka, very tough driver to pass. Let's see if Brandon can make it work this time.
Oh, he's on the inside now. If Tanaka can just stay around the outside, he might stand a chance into turn 2. But he's a full, he's got his whole car ahead now, Johnny Brandon. And that is P10 for him, with the issues as well for Buzan. So this isn't going to be too bad a result for Johnny Brandon. Next up, of course, will be Tony Klusman. Only 2 seconds ahead. Klusman's failed to really pull away too quickly. And then will be Ben Gregory. So certainly can get Gregory, I think. He's having a fantastic run in 8th currently. But any further than that might be a little bit difficult for the XVR driver.
Jackson and Foggy fighting it out. And once again, just like in race 1, position 2 and 3 fighting it out. And P1 using all the advantage he can, maybe to pull away from this fight and run towards the victory, like we saw in race 1 for Jake Barton. We'll see if it's the same in race 2 for Michael Evdoka, season 4 champion. So glad to have him back in the championship, even if it's only for a few races every once in a while. The more the merrier. Is one of the best drivers in all of iRacing with the V8 Supercars, so it's great to have him here.
Yeah, and it's awesome to have 3 champions of this series as well on the grid. Of course, only 4 of them. Taliancic, the 1 missing, but Klusman with 2, Evdoka with 1, and Brandon with 1. Of course, Taliancic with 1 as well. As we see side by side, Buzan and Winter. Of course, these guys will be hoping for the championship, but that might be a couple of seasons off because they are currently fighting for 12th position. Oh, we got another car.
I think it's David Fielder, who was already a lap down, but now Gregory, Klusterman are fighting it out. Tanaka and Brandon, Brandon and Tanaka, sorry for the Italian there, Every once in a while, some words slip out of my brain and into my tongue, and then Italian language into the broadcast. So I said Brandon and Tanaka because, of course, Brandon went by, and despite the toughness of the overtaking, it's nice, nice work from Klusterman and Brandon making their way through the field. Now I think Brandon will try to get past Gregory, who's having a good race in the top 10. Here comes on the outside Johnny Brandon for the pass.
Yeah, I don't think Gregory's going to fight this one too hard. There's no point for him because he's going to lose the position eventually anyway. And there goes Johnny Brandon. Of course, Tanaka will be next up. I think he's going to make his way past Gregory very easy as well. Tanaka could be a good pick actually for race 3. He's going to be starting pretty high up. Of course, Gregory should be starting ahead of him once he makes this move. Of course, a full reverse grid for race 3. Shall we go back to the race start? Seems to have calmed down a little bit near the front. So I think we might be able to analyse what on earth occurred in those first, or in that first corner.
Yes, the crash happened mid-pack. I think Clyde Whiting was involved in that. So we start with, then we had crashes for Klusterman and for Johnny Brandon. So let's see what happens. This is the camera is focusing on Clyde Whiting, who gets, you know, it's the left, it's right, then he's hit himself, and you can see a bit of chaos happening all around, and more chaos coming. Then now we should have Johnny Brandon's problem. He lost the car on his own, and he went out. And then Tony Klusterman, if I can find him on the relative, is already around, so we'll have to watch it again. Let's hope to find that I can find it very, very quickly.
Great start from Klusterman there, and he positioned his car pretty well, didn't go for too much. With the cross top 2 fighting really, really hard. I think where could he have been if it weren't for this? There goes Brandon spearing off, and I think there was a bit of netcode, wasn't there?
Yes, I think so. Very, very unlucky for Tony. Johnny made a very, very uncharacteristic mistake because he lost the car on his own. And that started from Clyde Whiting. He hit a car on the left, he hit a car on the right, and he got hit by 2 other cars, and then all hell broke loose into the first corner. So unlucky, as the situation at the front remains the same, with Evdoka now having the fast lap of the race just for a few seconds, because it is then beaten by Chris Jackson, 55.384. But still, since Foggy and Jackson are fighting it out, Evdoka is having it, relatively speaking, very easy at the front. 0.7 of a second the gap between P1 and P2, but never under attack so far in this race. But still, I am quite sure that the pressure is there, even though he's a former champion, so he knows how to deal with these situations. And now, next guy in line being lapped is Harald Stedler. You see him, is in P18 at the moment.
Brandon's got ahead of Klusterman. Not quite sure how that one happened. Quite significant though. And he's pulled a second ahead now of Tony. So on that last lap, Tony had a bit of a poor lap, 1.5 seconds off the pace. Fortunately, I can't see this one, Marco, so you'll have to talk us through this.
Yes, coming out of the penultimate corner, Tony had a semi-spin, a half spin, and that allowed Johnny to go through. Tony put his car back very quickly in the right point, in the right way. It was really a half spin, nothing more, but that's all that Johnny needed to get back, to get in front of him. So now, sitting in P8 is Johnny Brandon, and P9 is Tony Klusterman. Johnny Brandon, the first Ford in the field, as you can see right now. Next in line is Greg Carr, but there's not a lot of time left for him, for Johnny to make a position, because we only have 5 laps left in the race. So this is going to be crunch time of the race. Of course, more and more cars are coming to in front of the race leader, and like we saw earlier in race 1, even if the lapped car gives up plenty of space and is very, very nice to you. It's always a scary moment, it's always a concerning moment, and it's always a distraction. And usually, the first guy coming to lap you is like an alarm clock, so he might not have it easy, but then you say, oh, what the hell, I'll just let everyone by. So usually the guys following the leader very closely get it easier than the first guy that comes through.
Yeah, of course, if it's just a straight race to the finish, you'd certainly back Evdoka. Anything which could, you know, raise a little bit of a risk for any one of these drivers is not going to benefit Evdoka. So, 4 laps to go now. And you can see he's pulled away from Boggy. He does seem to have the edge. It's so great to see Chris Jackson, though, right at the front of the field. He would be so unlucky not to win a race. I don't think he is going to win a race. He's going to be starting something like 15th on the grid for race 3, it looks like. But he has put in a very good effort in these first 2 races, and hopefully will be able to mount a championship attack. Right now he's trying to mount an attack on Nicole Foggy, but you can just see the car getting away. You've pretty much got to ace 3 or 4 corners just to have half a chance at a move. And I haven't seen him really get within a couple of tenths of Foggy so far. It is so difficult around here. The track temperature has cooled down quite a bit. It's down to 2 degrees now, gone down by 14 degrees since the start of the race. As Johnny Brenner has another off. The championship leader, well, he's having a mare right now.
Yes, and I think he might have big damage because he's keeping his car outside of the racing line. Let's see. His steering seems okay. Let's get very quickly a replay of that. Here we go. Here is Johnny Brandon on the screen. That's a very weird mistake. And why did he keep the car in the grass instead of coming back to the racing line then? Because he didn't hit the wall. A very, very weird situation for Johnny Brandon there. He's back on the track, but now he's in P11. Ben Gregory, Victor Tanaka and Tony Klusterman all went past the defending champion.
Yep, crucial points escaping him. I'm just watching it back now, so yeah, maybe a hardware issue for him. No, it would have been a screen freeze or anything, but yeah, has got back going, and of course that will benefit his starting place for race 3, but I'm sure that's not what he's thinking right now.
You know, Sam, something that is really weird about this track, despite being a very old Scan, this is one of the very first tracks that I race in Scan, I think. It is very hard on the system, which is also, I think, something good as a personally, because it means that my new computer is holding really well. But many drivers have complained about how hard it is on your machine, this track, and which is very weird. I think it's because it renders both tracks, this one and the smaller one.
Okay.
And maybe all the trees around the track are maybe tough on the hardware, so who knows? Especially the guys in VR. We'll have to ask Tony if he comes for an interview later. How did he feel with VR around this track? As the last lap of the race is starting right now, with Clyde Whiting fighting for pole position because he's about to get lapped by Michael Evdoka.
I'm sure if Evdoka didn't have to pass him, he wouldn't pass him. He's got to get on with it though, because well, he's still got 2 drivers very close behind him. Whiting will not let him pass at the same time because he is the league organizer, so he doesn't want to cause any controversy. The Phantom 71 driver, he might just be able to hold on here, but I think more importantly, who's going to hold on is Michael Evdoka. Hasn't won a race since meeting 2 of season 5, but in meeting 2 of season 6, Michael Evdoka returns to the top step of the podium and he wins at Tsukuba. Race 2 goes to him. And Pitstike Motorsport as well. Good car, just holding... Oh, in fact, he's trying to pressure Anthony Woodward. What a good drive this has been from Woodward. Still in 6th place. Car is not going to get him. Klusman, another 5.5. So what's happening to Klusman? He's quite slow out there. He's just going to hold off against his teammate Tanaka. I don't know if there was an issue right at the end there. and just the other drivers following through. I think Brandon managed to get past Winter, so he finished 11th there. Johnny Brandon by far his worst result of the season.
I don't think that Winter ever got by him. I think he lost positions to Klusterman, Tanaka, and Gregory, but he was in front of Winter when he made his off, when he came back on the track.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, my bad.
No, don't worry. All the drivers are coming to the start. Oh no, all the drivers went past the start-finish line. As of course, Michael Evdoka is celebrating his race victory. Here he is, and he gets the well-deserved slow motion, which I couldn't do in race 1 because of all the replays. And also, more importantly, we have the race results for you, and they should be on the screen more or less right now.
Yes, so it's Michael Evdoka's first race victory in, I think, 11 meetings. Of course, didn't take part in 10 of them. So I guess he's only waited 4 races, hasn't he? So that doesn't sound particularly fair. It's still been 6 months, though, since Michael Evdoka's last win in this series. He finishes ahead of Nicole Foggy in 2nd place. Chris Jackson was a very strong 3rd. Unfortunately, track position hasn't really been his thing, though, today. Gets another podium, though. Strong day so far. Alexander Galahov, what could have been for him? Running in 2nd place, picked up a slowdown, though, on lap 2. Could have well ended up on the podium. Richard Warming, good drive from him from 9th to 5th. Wasn't a great start from him either. Anthony Woodward was running 4th in the opening stages. Still finishes a very strong 6th. Greg Carr, his teammate, just behind him. Another teammate, Tony Klusman, and another teammate, Victor Tanaka, in 9th. Benjamin Gregory, great result for him, rounding out the top 10. Johnny Brennan had a couple of issues up there in 11th. The race to forget for him. Klaus Winter was in 12th. Samuel Bizan, 13th, after running in 7th place early on. Carsten Pichman was in 14th. There's Nikolai Bogotayev and Edward Raprica. And crucially, Clyde Whiting on pole position he's going to beat because he was the last driver on the lead lap. Only just held on to the lead lap as well. So well done to Clyde. He will be starting on the pole position for race 3. What can he do from there? Hans Stadler was 1 lap down. So too was Andrew Hoffman, Sergei Glazkov. 2 laps down was Guy Croft, and then the retirees were Frost, Fielder, and O'Connor. So, as the Pitstime Motorsport drivers of Michael Evdoka and Ben Gregory complete some donuts for their efforts, will be Whiting on the pole position. What can we expect from this one, Mark? I guess it's difficult to predict what's going to happen, but you surely got to put your money on Johnny Brandon making his way through the field.
Will this be the race where finally the league organizer, Clyde Whiting, gets his yellow stripe away from his car? This means he's never had a top 5 in the championship. Starting from the pole, this could be a chance also for Sam Busin. This could be a great chance to have finally that elusive top 5. And quicker guys will have to be super careful. Even Brandon, even Klusterman was sitting a little bit further forward than Evdoka and the other guys that finished on the podium, because like we just saw in race 2, that those first few corners, it only takes for one driver to make a mistake, Sam, and then all hell can break loose. So you don't want to miss, I think, this 3rd race that's coming up in just a bit.
Yes, you absolutely do not. The final race of the evening here from Tsukuba coming to you in about 20 minutes' time. Do not miss it.
now. All clear. Punch it. Great job. You did really well.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Can Nikolai Bogotayev hold on to that lead? It's Gary Croft alongside him on the front row. And away we go here at Phillip Island for race 2 of the evening. And it's an awesome start. Who is that? Gary Croft is in the lead of the race currently. Brenton O'Brien in second place. Dom Gantak got an awesome start. It's a poor start for Nikolai Bogotayev though. And so round turn 1, it's all very, very close between those top 3. Jamie McKnight trying to get involved as well. He's moved up into 4th place. It's an awful start for Bogotayev.
Oh, Johnny Brandon, where is he going?
Whoa! And it's the championship leader, Johnny Brandon, off the circuit. He's dropped right to the rear of the field, just further up. That's Foggy going side by side with someone. It's also side by side potentially for 2nd position. Doman Gantar trying to get the move. Jamie McKnight's all over the place, and they could be 3 wide. And there's a car on the grass somehow not making contact with the Jazz going through the hairpin. It's a crazy start. Jamie McKnight has moved up into 2nd position now, 2nd in the championship, and whilst his main championship rival is in the grass, he's made an awesome start. Foggy just leads.
Oh, there's crash, there's a big crash.
Oh dear, the leading
Croft
two.
and McKnight.
It's Croft and McKnight. What an incredible start to this race. And they are both in the grass. And Jake McKnight, just as it looked like he could make up a whole heap of points on Johnny Brandon, just made a bit of contact, avoidable from both. And it leaves Brenton O'Brien in the lead of this race.
They didn't hold off with their, I mean, the gloves were off because they were beating and banging, as Bingham also has got some trouble. He's dropping fast, and now we have a 3-way.
Cracknell in the lead.
Well, Cracknell is in the lead, and look at that, because Foggy still hasn't gone around O'Brien there, and Gantar is in 4th, Mass is in 5th place. What a fantastic start. It's all happening.
What's a lap from Michael Cracknell? He's gone from 4th
Foggy
to 1st, and Foggy is nearly off the circuit. He might still pull off the move though. This would be incredible. Trying to push him off, and there's more contact. And O'Brien is off the circuit. He's going to get a slowdown, and this could be really costly for him and Foggy, because around the outside goes Toman Gantar, surely to take 2nd position in this race. Side by side through the final corner, and across the start-finish line they go. This is an incredible first opening couple of laps. It does mean that Michael Cracknell has got a 2-second lead, but they're side by side. Brenton O'Brien versus Damon Gantar. Brenton O'Brien started in 3rd position. He had an awesome start, but Gantar is trying to get the move done. He can't get it done. He can get it done. O'Brien down into 3rd position as we see more cars off in the background. I think that's Bogotayev.
I think it's Jackson, and we see, oh no, crash again in the back.
Car.
Whiting and Brandon.
Oh, wow. Oh, there's still changes for position in 2nd position, by the way. We should just cut to this, I think, quickly. O'Brien has got back, and Foggy's trying to get the move as well. So O'Brien, is in 2nd position. He's somehow caught back up to Gantar, and Gantar's lost another position here to Foggy, has he? Yes, he has. So Gantar, from a really strong 2nd position, he's lost it again. Yeah, Jackson trying to get that move currently on Alex Mass in 5th position.
Jackson is around. Oh, he saved it maybe, yes, but he's losing a lot of time.
Brian is giving Michael Cracknell a huge helping hand for potentially his first race victory of this season, because he is now 4 seconds out in the lead. Back comes Nico Foggy though. Down the inside, he's going to have the outside for the next one. They're going to be so deep on the brakes here. And Foggy is all the way round. Can he just push him off ever so slightly? Brenton O'Brien, because Foggy will have the inside for the next corner if he can't do so. And Foggy is going to have the inside for the next corner. And Foggy is up into 2nd position now.
Oh, Klusterman, Gantar. Gantar is around. Klusterman went into the grass, lost a couple of positions. No damage for him, but Gantar lost. He's down to P15. Man, Sam, the action is non-stop in the 2nd race. We need a split screen, absolutely.
Yeah, a few screens, don't we? That was, whose fault was that? Oh, Gantar just spun ahead of Policeman, to be fair, and wasn't a whole lot he could do. It does mean that Alex Mass, remember, in his first ever feature race is running in P4. What a performance this is.
Big damage from Tony.
What's happened to him again?
I think he got some damage from that contact there. Oh, his teammate pushes him out. Oh man. Wow, it's all happening. We are only 6 laps in, and we see now Mass in 3rd place on the inside of the 1st corner. Fantastic move by Mass on O'Brien.
Oh, Warming's got ahead of O'Brien, sorry.
Yeah, O'Brien I think is in the grass because his name is flashing in red. Oh
dear.
Already. Yeah, he's spun around.
Oh, that's so annoying for Brenton O'Brien. Has Warmingham gone and hit him here? I wonder if he has. Oh, was there a little bit of a tap there? I'm not quite sure. If there was, then it was very innocent there from Richard Warming.
So yeah, I mean, halfway through the race, 16 of 32,
Welcome back to the UV8 Supercar Series Meeting 2 of Season 6 of the Championship, of course sponsored by KSW Painting, broadcasted by Apex Racing TV. Just a couple of minutes away from Race 2 of the evening. Of course, we've seen 2 different winners so far today. Marco Doctor taking the Race 2 win, holding on from pole position. And of course, Marco, both race winners have come when they've led after turn 1. That's probably going to give Clyde Whiting some hope. I think we're going to see a few more overtakes in this one because, of course, we did get a full reverse grid for this race today.
Exactly. Sadly, we have to talk about this because you might see the number of drivers dwindling down from race 1. That's not because of issues with participation or raging, but sadly because tonight iRacing servers are not performing as expected, and many drivers, including race 1 winner Jake Barton, sadly are not able to join in the server. So that's very unfortunate because it's not giving us the chance to have these amazing drivers in the field, but sometimes we have to roll with it. So the league organizer decided to go through with the race, and I think they did the right choice because sometimes you have to draw a line, and sadly some drivers get the short end of the stick. But still, we have an amazing field. Sun is going down 25 laps once again, the full reverse, with all the drivers on the lead lap from race 2 getting reversed. And let's see what happens. I'm expecting this to be the more chaotic race of the night. It's quite an easy prediction, I know, but still, we will see. The quick drivers are all starting in the back, and some drivers who are very, very hungry for a race victory or a podium or top 5 positions will start at the front stand. So it's going to be a very interesting one. We only have 1 minute to go through the starting grid, so as soon as the session switches over, we will show it for you, and then it's showtime for the final race of the day. Session has switched over, and here we go with the grid.
Yes, and on the front row of the grid, it's Clyde Whiting and Edward Rapriga. Those were the 2 last drivers on the lead lap in race 2. Behind that, Nikolai Bogotayev and Carsten Piechman. And then it's Samuel Buzan and Klaus Winter, Johnny Brandon. Probably the favourite for this race. Pole sitter in race 1. How quickly can he get through those first 6 drivers in this one? Benjamin Gregory starts a strong 8th, Victor and Tony Klusman. Race 2 winner, Michael Docker, starts from 17th on the grid. And, well, we are about to get underway, in fact, I believe. And away we go. Clyde Whiting away really well ahead of Nikolai Bogotayev. Bogotayev getting a good start then. Is there any contact here? Brandon needs to try to get through these first few corners cleanly. He seems to have done already up into 4th place from 7th on the grid, the reigning champion. So far, no incidents. Of course, we saw a big crash in race 1 as Buzan goes off the circuit. And, well, an opportunity for maybe a top 5 has gone begging for him as he nearly makes contact with a couple of drivers as well. I think that's Benjamin Gregory just trying to go around the outside there, maybe getting past Carsten and Piechman, who hasn't got a good start whatsoever, down to 10th place from the second row of the grid. Bogotayev under pressure here, and now contact, and now round goes Bogotayev round the down the field. Hasn't had a great day so far. An opportunity from second position to do some good in this one as Brandon tries to move up into the podium positions. Now there's almost contact between 2nd, 3rd and 4th. It's Tanaka currently holding up Brandon. So Tanaka, what a start for him from 9th on the grid. And if Tanaka can keep Brandon behind him, he could be a good shot for the race win.
Yes, as there's more crashing noise as Birmingham is in the pits. Whiting, race leader. Edward Raprager second, Tony Klusterman already up to third. Tanaka, Brandon, Gregory, where is Foggy? Down to P13 and still in a lot of trouble with Michael Evdoka right in front of him.
I don't know where Brandon lost out there. Yeah, no clue whatsoever. Oh, we got Beachman down the inside, and that's going to be contact. No chance there for Greg Carr. Off into the wall goes the Never Quit Racing driver. I think he may just have to give up after that one. Big contact. Michael Evdoka with a lot of damage out there. Is he going to be able to continue? Normally he is side by side. Is he with Nicole Foggy, I believe? Has just got a jug Greg Carr, I think, into the pits. Oh, a lot of contact for those drivers.
Yeah, that was Karsten Pichman losing the car there. And there's a trouble of the big reverse, of course, which is also making this very exciting. Evdoka seems to be very damaged, missing the bonnet on his Holden Commodore. And you see Foggy's in front of him. Big gap then. Let's go back to the front, because Whiting and Raprager first and second, then there's a train with Klusterman, Tanaka, Brandon, a little bit back is Gregory, but in a very nice 6th place, then Jackson, Galahov, Foggy and Evdoka, the top 10 for race 3 so far. So we didn't have the big pileup in the first lap, as sometimes the reverse brings, but we have a lot of contact in the lap 2, 3 and 4.
Oh,
Big
Brandon's going for the meal, and so too is Klusterman. Klusterman has tapped round Raprager, and now is Brandon going to make that position? He's off the circuit. Is Johnny Brennan just about holds onto it? There might even be a slowdown, I'm not quite sure for him. He's down the inside. Johnny Brandon, I don't know what that move was about whatsoever. Maybe getting a little bit hot-tempered there, Johnny Brandon, because that was a very aggressive move, and now they've made contact again, and well, that was a very bad few corners. Victor Tanaka going off the circuit, and now who is that trying to change? Is that Nicole Foggy? I'm not quite sure. No, it's Chris Jackson, sorry, trying to make the move. And round goes Clyde Whiting, the race leader. Unlucky number 13 once again. Clyde Whiting loses the race lead.
Okay, we have a lot of stuff to show. Let's start with the problem for Raprager. And here we go. Let's see what happened to Johnny Brandon there. Oh, he had some contact with Tanaka. I think that Brandon feels Tanaka pushed him off the track there, so that's why he dive bombed him on the inside. It was all good here, but then Brandon, I'm not a steward, but I think we might have some. This is a series where we rarely have protests after the race. We will see what happened. And now Clyde Whiting losing the rear end on the grass. Very, very strange mistake, and that's his chance of a good result gone.
Yeah, I'll give Brandon the benefit of the doubt at the moment. It's possible that he did just misjudge his braking point going into turn 2 and just miss the corner, because he was all kinds of locked up, so I don't think he wanted to make contact there. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubts on that one. I think the second one, I think that's quite harsh to give to Brandon at the moment, so I think the two cars kind of came together, both aiming for the same piece of tarmac. Nicole Foggy up into 5th place. So Brandon's still in 2nd place somehow. He's under big pressure though from Chris Jackson, who's been so impressive so far today. Of course, one Never Quit Racing driver spins off. Another Never Quit Racing driver inherits the lead. Tony Klusterman leading the way. He hasn't taken a race victory so far this season. I'm just trying to think his last race victory. Maybe the penultimate round? No, that was Bathurst. Yeah, it's been a while, I think, for Tony Klusterman. Was so strong in qualifying always, but sometimes struggles to back it up in the races. As down the inside there goes Nicole Foggy on Alexander Galahov. And that's a very nice move there from Foggy. Had to muscle his way through. And, well, Foggy could well catch up to 2nd and 3rd by the end of this one, because you'd expect Brandon to have a little bit of damage on that car. The two Fitstyle Motorsport drivers go side by side. Evdoka moving past Gregory.
Did you push the button for the team order then? I saw you.
Oh dear, how did you know? Yeah. they get on well, I think. That's the key. I think most teammates do. To be fair, Apex Racing TV, we're commentators. We like a bit of soap opera. We want to see teammates come together. Unfortunately, they don't do that regularly. The only time I can remember in this series is when Klusman and Jackson came together, but that was in a media day, so it didn't really matter too much. Hopefully we'll see a bit of action here. Of course, this is XVR versus Never Quit Racing. They are catching up to Klusman on that last lap. Brandon was 2/10 faster, so we've got side by side here. That is Tanaka going down the inside of Gregory, and Gregory loses out and makes contact there with Woodward, who's now going to be in the clutches of Croft.
Woodward lost the front bonnet, the bonnet of his car in that crash, I think. Let's get a replay of that. Very, very optimistic move there from Tanaka. Two wheels on the grass, but it's very odd because Gregory lost the car as well before the contact. So really it was unavoidable. One guy was in two wheels on the grass, the other guy was spinning, and they made contact there. These drivers, Sam, are not holding back for this third race of the night.
No, absolutely not. Because we don't need to worry about not finishing a lap down anymore. I don't think they were really worried about that too much in the first place, to be honest, but it's certainly a free race for these guys, racing for a top 10 finish. Yeah, so Fielder right on the tail, locking up his brakes on Woodward. Klaskov closing in, O'Connor closing in. Those two guys have had a bit of a quiet day. We'll be hoping to end it with a bang, but a positive bang, of course. As Fielder still struggling to get the move done on Woodward. Woodward defending well. And yeah, these guys I'm sure will battle to the end as this has turned into a four-way battle now. As Fielder has a fantastic run, and I think that might be a slowdown there for Anthony Woodward, or a serious engine issue. Might be a serious engine issue, to be honest, because he's not lost too much more time straight after. Now Docker trying to get the move done on Galahov. He's only 8.8 seconds off the lead. I say only 8.8 seconds off the lead, but I'm sure that'll be too far for him. Well, started this race in 17th place. Galahov started in 14th, so they've both escalated the field very impressively. And he's about to line this one up. Should have about half a second extra per lap, but just not quite nearing the traction zone. And well, he's going to struggle going into turn one. Taking a very wide line there, Michael Evdoka. But couldn't really yield any promising exit there from the final corner. And Galahov taking a slightly earlier turn in as Woodward into the pits. And, well, he seemed to have serious engine issues. And, well, that might just be his day over.
I think so. Remember, the guys have one faster pair, but I think he already went to the pits once, or maybe not. Back to this battle here, because Galahov is holding his position quite nicely, and is a very nice battle with Evdoka as the sun is going down here on the racetrack. We won't get headlights on, I think. And of course, as soon as I switch the camera, there's the move from Evdoka, but Galahov is not giving up, and they are side by side on the backstretch.
Yep, neck and neck. Got the same acceleration as well. Evdoka down the inside. Now, can Galahov come back here? Hasn't got too much to lose as Galahov, whereas... now
dear.
He has lost everything. Because he's in the wall. And, well, he was going to have a decent result there, was Alexander Galahov. Not anymore. That's not a blown engine, though, but he's had to go back to the pits regardless.
That was a big hit, Sam. Very, very big hit.
Did he get on the curb or even the grass, potentially? No, neither. Well, he got on the curb, but it was mainly just the over-rotation mid-corner.
Listen to the engine. Not making a nice sound there.
Gregory could have quite a big line behind him quite soon. He's holding up Croft nicely, but Fielder's on his way. Glasgow is on his way. O'Connor's on his way. On that last lap, Gregory did a 57.03 compared to O'Connor's 55.69. So I think he's going to catch him relatively soon. I think this whole pack is going to come together.
Someone went around there. It's Pitchman. See the big dust cloud in front of these guys. Pitchman is a couple of laps down. Not true, he's only one lap down. And he's wide again. So I think that's his race. I mean, he was already in trouble, but now, yes, he's more trouble. As this is the closest battle on the field, but also we have Bogatire and Buse in here. Fighting it up for P13 with Stedler right in front of them. Fighting for position.
Remarkably clean cars, these, seemingly. Because we have seen a few incidents, and yet from my screen at least, I'm not seeing too much damage. Now, can Buzan get this move done into the final corner? To be fair to Bogatire, leaving a little bit of room on the inside then, leaving a lot of room there, and it might cost him the position. Although he's got a decent run out of the corner, but you want the inside into turn one, because it's around any of these happens. They're such long corners, you've got to go such a further distance on the outside. That's really not worth it. And Buzan up into, that was 13th place, is Glasgow, getting past O'Connor there.
Yes.
Sorry,
Sam,
holding on to O'Connor, sorry.
Sam, I'm noticing in these cars, maybe because with these cars you have to be very gentle on the throttle when you floor. You cannot floor it basically. Oh, problem from Gregory. I think maybe a slowdown, I don't know. And behind them there's Glasgow, I think, sideways. Gregory, Croft and Fielder all together into the final corner. So I noticed very quickly that since you cannot really floor it with these cars, going on the outside in the hairpins is not very, you know... Oh! Gregory saves it! Yes, but he loses 2 positions.
Fantastic sliding from those drives there. Fielder almost gained 2 positions in one as we go back to the lead. It was 3.5 seconds. That feels like a long time ago because it's now down to 0.6 of a second. And he's going to have to hold on here, Tony Klisterman, for 10 laps against his old rival, Johnny Brandon. These two arguably have the best rivalry in this series. I'm not quite sure. They've certainly come to get, or been on the same piece of track plenty of times. Both electric over 1 lap, of course. Brandon usually with the advantage in the race, but Klisterman with the advantage of track position currently. The Season 1 and Season 2 champion. Can he hold on against the XBR driver just behind? And can he get Jackson involved in this one? Still only 1.4 seconds behind and closing in.
We have on the screen the gap. Lap 11 was 2 seconds. Lap 15 is 0.4 of a second. So Brandon has been very, very quick, especially in the last couple of laps. He's really putting in the good work to get as close as possible to Tony Klisterman. Now we have seen that the guy that has the lead doesn't relinquish it. Will it be the same in race 3? We will see, because Brandon seems quite a bit faster than Tony, but passing around here is not easy.
Well, of course, in race 1, lap 2, Brandon managed to get the move done on Klisterman. But of course, Klisterman, with these cooler track temperatures, most likely going to benefit his driving style. He's a very aggressive driver. Got a bit of a lead right foot. He might have a bit of a heavy left one. Left. Both feet are very heavy, is my point. And so he does use up the tyres quite a bit, but of course, only 23 degrees track temperature. Victor Tanaka into the wall from 6th place.
Hardware issue? Let's see from the onboard. Straight one.
Klisterman defending again. Brandon fancies his chances on the outside this one, and if he can just keep his nose on the outside there, he might stand a chance into 2. No, he couldn't quite make it, but that's a good tactic there from Brandon. He knows what to do, because Klisterman is going to be reluctant to push him off the circuit in that situation. It's all about getting that run out of turn 1, and if you can just keep your nose in the business there, then you might be able to have the inside into 2.
You know, Sam, now I get why I'm not a big fan of the new NQR livery. Is that at a first glance, it really seems like the XVR livery. They both teams wish to black and white for this season. they have to be, you know, have a little bit of you know, thought for the broadcasters, you know.
Oh yeah, I was actually watching earlier on the 2001 Spa race, and I didn't realise that the Sauber and the Benetton had like the exact same livery that season, and how you managed to distinguish between the two of them. Of course, I was 0 at the time, so I always have to say how old I was, just to make whoever I'm conversating with seem very, very old, because they absolutely are. As Klisterman defending Brandon, backing him up into Jackson now.
Oh yes, we might have a three-way battle for the race win, as time is winding down, Sam, because we have 6 laps, maybe 7 laps to go. As Tony has been able to defend, and we have a problem for Gregory there. Not only for him, because I think also Buzin went around. No, he wasn't. He did not. Okay. That was Stadler being punted out of the way, being collected by poor Ben Gregory, who really cannot catch a break lately. Back to the front.
I'm glad. So I was just going to say how I'm glad that it's not an instant load, because I'm almost certain whatever it was, Greggy would have passed it by now, because he's had I think about 4 different crashes. I think he was holding back the Nile right there, and they've all managed to gush past him in a very quickly. Klisterman, the more laps he stays ahead, the better he must feel, the more confident he must feel that he can hold on to this one. Somehow, Brandon hasn't won a race this season, despite, I think, very much being in the lead of the championship. Neither has Klisterman, neither has Jackson, actually. I never noticed that. So they haven't won a race so far this season. Are they going to break it this time?
Tony with a little bit of a problem there, coming out of the final corner sideways. I don't think that Johnny can profit from this mistake, because he will have the outside going into the S's and then into the hairpin. They also slot back to single file before they come to the corner, so as you can see they're very close. Johnny Brandon on the inside. Does he have enough pace? He doesn't. I think, yes, Foggy is a little way behind, 6 seconds back from this pack, I think, so it will be these 3 guys, and I think they are all great, but it's tough to make the move, and I think that Jackson in his mind is saying the only way I can win is with a little bit of luck. If they touch each other, they slow each other down so much that I can make the move, because passing 1 car is tough, passing 2 cars almost impossible.
I wouldn't be surprised if Klisterman right now is shouting to Chris, get involved, help me out, take him out, do something, because I'm under pressure right now. And with, well, it's only 4 laps to go. He's held him back for about 5 already. He's almost there, Tony Klisterman, almost there to his first race victory of the season. Sometimes he does buckle under the pressure in this situation. At Montreal, race 1, got the pole position, was leading the way, but was under too much pressure from 2nd and 3rd, and he made a mistake, got a slowdown, and that cost him badly. This time, will he buckle?
Somehow, I can't imagine Tony shouting. With all the interviews we did to him, always very calm, even after very tough races. Very relaxing voice when he comes for the interviews after the race, and I'm not sure he's quite relaxed right now, because Johnny Brandon is trying everything to get by him.
I was about to say, Brandon's attempts at the move getting a little bit repetitive. There's nothing else he can do, really. All he can do is try to get the cutbacks where he can, get the strong exits, and just pray that Tony makes a mistake. That's going to be his one and only chance. There's not really anywhere around this circuit where you can possibly go for a move. "5 seconds still back to Foggy, who isn't really closing in these guys. Docker further 2.5 seconds back as now Brandon, that's a slightly better run. He's almost fully alongside him going into turn 1. How late will Klusman be on the brakes? He's got it stopped very impressively. Didn't allow Brandon to go around the outside. That's how good Brandon has to be. He's got to get himself into a better position than that. Once again, Klusman will just defend into every corner. Jackson getting closer and closer. The top 3 separated by 7/10 of a second. As they come up to some traffic, we saw how this nearly influenced the race 1 results. Will it affect the race 2 results? Policeman, again, a little bit of an early apex. We are heading on to the final lap already. And Brandon with an awful exit there, losing crucial tenths. And his chances of getting the move done into turn 1 have taken a big hit there.
Yes, a fantastic night of racing once again. See this very, very close battle for the winning white flag in the air. I remind you, that this is a free championship. Anyone can join for free. You also get broadcasted. It's a fantastic car, a great community. So joining the fun. Season already just started, so there's a lot of rounds left. Next one, the 2-hour enduro. Sorry, not the enduro race at Le Mans. So you don't want to miss it, with 8 times time acceleration, by the way.
Yeah, it's going to be approximately, probably about 100 minutes in length, that one. Tony Klusman then. He's got one more corner to go for his first race victory of the season. He got himself into a great position in the opening stages. He got himself ahead of Johnny Brandon, crucially. Brandon's going to be leading the championship coming out of this round. But Tony Klusman is going to be winning race 3 here at Tsukuba. Well done to the Canadian. And he stops his little bit of a mini drought, let's say, of a few meetings without a race win. This battle's still going on. Ratbruger having to defend Sutton on the front row. The grid was running in second place early on before having a bit of a tap round with another driver. I can't remember who it was, actually. So it gets a bit of a poor exit there. He's again very under pressure from Samuel Buzan. Right at the line. Buzan's closing. With damage himself. He will look to the inside, will the Assyria Racing driver, but the gap's not there. Edward Ratbruger will end his evening with a 10th place finish.
Yes, as everyone has crossed the start-finish line apart from a couple of drivers, so one of them being Nikolai Bogatarev. Here he comes. Now everyone has gone past the start-finish line, so in just a few seconds the race results will be on your screen. And here we go.
Yes. Tony Klusman then, with his first race victory of the season, as I've already explained. Beats Johnny Brandon to the race victory. Less than 0.3 of a second. Very close finishes today in all 3 races. Chris Jackson was only 0.6 off the lead in the end. He was so strong today, Jackson. 3 podiums. Well done to him. That was, a second, a third, and third. Really well done to him. That must be one of his most successful days in this series. Nicole Foggy was in 4th. Him and Michael Tucker, that was pretty much the best they could get after starting so low down. Guy Croft, strong 6th. Pretty much best of the rest there. David Fielder, great 7th. We didn't really talk about him too much, but up 15 places. Well done. Also up 15 places with Laney Connor. How did he do that? I did not see that his drive through the field whatsoever, but I think he just picked up the pieces. Decent pace. And great result for Lane. Sergei Glaskov was in 9th, and Edward Ratbruger from the front row of the grid in 10th. Samuel Buzan finished in 11th. Clyde Whiting from the pole position made a mistake in 12th. You wonder where he could have been. Maybe even in the top 6, I think would have been very possible for Whiting. Behind that was Woodward. Then it was Carr, Bogatarev, and then the drivers a lap or more down. Gregory, Warmingham, Peichman, Hoffman, Stedler, Tanaka, Galahov, and Winter, the 23rd driver. We started off with 28, I think, but of course with server issues, we unfortunately dropped a few drivers. But hopefully they'll all return back to us next time at Le Mans. And of course, the driver that we really want to speak to right now is with us now. Tony Klusman, race 3 winner. Your first race win of the season, your first race win for, I don't know how many meetings it is. It's something like I think it's about 3 meetings now. You must be delighted with that.
You make it sound like it's never happened. Yes, I'm very, very happy with that win. I struggled. My headset gave out after the 12th lap, so I had no sound whatsoever to go by, and that's why I started losing a lot of time to Johnny. He was putting a lot of pressure on me, and it's very difficult to drive without the noises.
Yeah, I can imagine. And also, 30 race victories, or something like that. So has happened plenty of times previously. But yeah, dealing with no sound, that must have been quite something. Your race start, though, was the thing that got it for you. We didn't quite see where you got past Johnny, but that was pretty much the race-defining moment.
I actually don't even remember where I got past Johnny. I think there was some sort of a incident or issue going on. In turn one, there was 3 of us going in there, and I think there was some late contact between Johnny and another driver, Rappinger, I think maybe. So that got me.
Yeah, and that ended up being very important. Chris was electric today, wasn't he? And he seemed to outqualify you a little bit, seemed to maybe have a little bit more in the races. But I'm sure you two are going to be super confident going next up into Le Mans. Is that going to be a good one for you and your teammate?
Chris was on fire today. He drove really, really well. I think he had 3 podiums, and very proud of the progress that he's made. It was wonderful, an event for him. Le Mans, not my favorite track, so we'll see how we get on there. It's I'll have to work on a setup. It's I don't believe I've raced there probably since almost the time it became available, so probably maybe 18 months.
Yeah, sure going to be a difficult one for you. And also just a word about this circuit. Of course, the first time we've been here in this series, a lot of hairpins. It looked tricky out there, particularly in that second race when it was 44 degrees Celsius track temperature. Yeah, how difficult was it?
That was really difficult. You could fry an egg on that track, I think. And typical of most of the Japanese or Asian tracks, they're lacking grip, and especially when it's hot like that. So, it's a very difficult track, very difficult to get around people. I'm sure there was lots of contact out there today, and that's what's going to happen when you've got 30 cars on a very tight course like this.
Well, it's great to watch you out there today, Tony. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Simability, Never Quit Racing, and D4 Pet Services are our team sponsors, and KSW Painting for looking after the league there. And you guys, as always, do a great job. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Tony. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Take care.
Unfortunately, we don't have any other interviews at the moment, but we will just discuss next time the Enduro at Le Mans, Marco. Pretty much no other better place for there to be an Enduro, and of course 8 times time acceleration. So I think the format's going to be starting off in the evening and then ending in the morning. That's going to be what an event.
Yeah, that is going to be great. And finally, as you might have seen during one of the commercial breaks, we actually showed the iRacing commercial that they put out a few weeks ago, showing the new Le Mans track version at night. It looks absolutely cool, especially all the lights, all the the wheel, and you see also the pit lane with all the nice stuff illuminated with the colors of the sponsor banners. I think it's going to be great. Very long straights. Hopefully these guys will be able to get long enough gear ratios to don't hit the limiter. You remember what happened with the Porsche Cup around Le Mans in the BSR series, where the cars would hit the limiter on the straight, and so they couldn't attack each other there. But it's a tricky track. Many difficult corners you can get wrong, and of course they added the bonus of racing at night, so it's not going to be easy for these drivers. And being an enduro, there are no do-overs. Yes, they have a fast repair, but one, you can get an incident when it's not a good moment to pit, and you have to elect: do I carry on until the pit stop, or do a pit now, but then I have to do an extra stop. And of course, it's only one race, so you have to be super careful. And we remember we are having now with the Enduros, I think we are having a rolling start starting from last season, if I'm not mistaken. We will see that first corner at Le Mans. It's always very, very scary and especially with cars that cannot brake very well like these ones. It's going to be super interesting. I cannot wait for the race in 2 weeks, and also I think I cannot wait for what's coming in this week on Apex Racing TV, Sam, because we have a lot of stuff going on, including next Saturday a very special event concerning Bathurst.
Yes, absolutely. On Saturday we've got we don't really have a name for it. I'm just calling it the Bathurst 90-minute preparation race. Of course, the 12 hours happening in a fortnight's time, so a bit of a preparation race for that. And if you are interested, slots are running few and far between, so not many GT3 slots. In fact, at this moment of talking, they may have already been filled up, but there are a few Porsche slots. So if you feel like entering that race, it's going to be good fun. 8 times day-night transitions, 90-minute race, and we've got a fantastic field, looking like something like 60 cars around that circuit. So yeah, if you're interested, particularly in the Porsche, do check out our Facebook page, and you'll find the sign-up link in there. And of course, tomorrow we got the Apex Racing League's Renault 3.5 Championship, round 7-ish. 7. Okay, we'll go 7. And then, of course, on Monday, we've got the World GT round 3. I do know what round that is. And also the BSR Masters. On Tuesday, we've also got BSR Masters. And Monday night, we've got the Ricmatech Sports Car Series. On Wednesday, we should have the iRacing Le Mans Series and also the first round of the World F3 Championship. On Thursday, we've got the BSR TC Winter Series. On Friday, we haven't got anything. And then, of course, on Saturday, we have that Bathurst event. And, of course, in 2 weeks' time, we will have that Enduro at Le Mans. Me and Marco are super excited about that. The championship looking ever so close. And, of course, it's going to be super competitive there. Hopefully, you'll join us back when that one goes live. And, yeah, unfortunately, we haven't had any other interviews. So, any drivers watching this back, feel like having an interview.
You know what this means, Sam. Usually, I know. It's not long that I've been doing this job, but I have noticed that no interviews or few interviews equals very angry drivers. We've had a lot of contact today, so I'm guessing they are instead of talking to us, they are talking to each other. Hopefully on friendly terms and trying to explain each other, because we had many crashes today, many hard battles side by side, rubbing fenders, which is what we really like. Sadly, we had some crashes as well, but it was another great night of racing. We will keep you posted about the Le Mans series on Wednesday. We will let you know if that happens. I can confidently say that I think it's going to happen, but we will keep you posted because we have to talk to the higher ups of Apex Racing TV. And yes, it's going to be a great week coming, Sam, I think. Cannot wait, honestly.
Yes. We've got a driver. Oh, fantastic. Anthony Woodward, you have called our prayers. Thank you for joining us. A few decent results, I think. Particularly race 2, you were running up in 4th place, I think, at one point. You must be pretty happy with your competitiveness today.
Yeah, it's a relief really after Montreal to get back near the sharp end. Race 1 and 2 the best 2, 9th and 6th, and then the last race was a bit of a disaster.
Well, it's still 13th place, and it's still solid points for you. Are you playing the points game at all, or are you thinking about just getting the best results possible? And because we saw quite a few incidents out there, some drivers being quite passive and some drivers being very aggressive.
Yeah, there's a bit of chat going on already in the Discord. So, but I just like such a tight track, and you know, it's not surprising we get a few incidents. I'm looking forward to Le Mans because you see the quality come through there.
Yeah, definitely an enduro for that one. Do you tend to enjoy the endurance events? Do you think they kind of suit your
Yes.
positives and negatives?
Yeah, that's what I was all about for the longest time, and then I had an attraction to the car, to the V8, but I've always been into the endurance races. Yeah, so with regards to the point game as well, I have to do that because I'm not going to be challenging for overall wins. So I just try and be as super consistent, get some top tens and get some points. So that's basically the aim with regards to championships for me.
Absolutely, very good tactics. Before we let you go, Anthony, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, the team, Sim Mobility, D4 Pet Services, my teammates, you guys, people who run the league, and yeah.
Thanks, Anthony. We will see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, can't wait. Looking forward to it.
We've also got oh, D's just left. Ah, dear. Well, we were going to have an interview with Chris Jackson, unfortunately, but he's had to pop off. So yeah, hopefully I'll get an interview with him in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah, we're going to be off now. We've already gone through what's coming up on Apex Racing TV. Hopefully you will tune in with us later on in the week. But for now, from me and from Marco, we'll say goodbye, and we will see you next time.